What is up, though, Lions fans? We are back, and you already know what it is. It's your boy, Motor City Don P. And you know that one thing is for certain, and three things are for sure. When you see me in front of your TV, number one is that the Motor City Cats are indeed back at it. Number two, we came to give you stats and not none of that static. And number three, perhaps the most important number of them all, number three. Want to make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. And you may be asking yourself, how, Don? How, Mr. P, does one keep their Lions news pragmatic? Well, it's very simple. I'm glad you asked. I'll tell you right now. Well, you got to smash the like button. You got to subscribe and you got to share. And it doesn't matter in which order you've done these things in. Once you've done these things, you have kept your Lions news pragmatic. And since sharing is caring, when you share this stream with your mothers, your brothers, your uncles, your sisters, your cousins, your brothers, your sisters, your brothers, your uncles, your fathers, your brothers, your sisters, you name it, you name it, you have indeed cared about these people. What is up, though, everybody in the chat? We are going to get into it today. We got some things that we've got to talk about. We got some things that we've got to go over. We got some things that have been on my mind. And I'm going to tell you what's been on my mind. So go ahead, chime in. You know how we do. You know what we do on this show, boy. We talk to the chat, boy. So we're going to talk to the chat about this here situation. I thought I was done with this show or these types of shows. I thought I was done. What up, though, Belinda Brown? What up, though, Avery T. Woodman? What's your season prediction with the games left? If our offense can be better, I don't know who beats us. I mean, we've got 3 divisional games left, so you can't poo-poo anybody in the division. But if our offense does better, I don't see who beats us. So I would say we can go 6-1 to 5-2. If we go 5-2, some of you guys that had your wish, I don't care about the division. I just want to just make sure the playoffs. Okay, y'all might have that. Okay, we want to win the division. So if we wanted to win the division, we definitely need to win out. Maybe lose one more game, but if we lose one more game, it can't be no divisional opponents. That's for sure. Every T. Willem, you have no idea why I'm saying it. So just calm yourself down. Thank you. All right. What up, though? Cookie the lurker. All right. Avery, calm down. Okay. All right. So listen, I thought I was done with these types of topics. I thought I was done with these types of shows. Now, as Avery has pointed out, it's a stupid thought to think of it this way. But see, Avery hasn't watched me enough or at all because he doesn't understand I am the official keeper of the Jamo. Right? So a lot of times people will come in the chat and they will start popping off. And it's really like, if you haven't watched, don't come in the chat and pop off. You are here to see what I have to say. If you don't want to see what I have to say, then the door is right over there. It's very simple. You can leave. If you want to hear what I have to say, then calm yourself and listen. It's very simple. During the game, after the game, even yesterday, Jameson Williams was almost over 100 yards again. I think he was 94 yards on 4 or 5 receptions. Okay. I can actually, just to be clear, let's see. Let's get the actual amount that he had. All right. Let me just get the actual amount. Okay. I'm going to go to team stats here. And player stats and Lions receiving. Jahmyr Gibbs was 5 for 107. Jameson Williams was 4 for 88. Okay. While Jahmyr Gibbs had more yards, Jameson Williams had a higher average. He was 22 yards per reception. Jahmyr Gibbs was 21.4 yards per reception. Jameer's long was 42. Jamo's long was 40. Okay. Jamo was targeted 7 times. He had one which you could have considered a drop. You could have considered it a drop. One. But if you were actually watching the game objectively, you would know that it wasn't a drop. It was a bad pass by Jared Goff. So the 4 catchable balls that he was thrown out of 7 targets, he caught the 4 of them. He took one of them for 40 yards to the end zone. When he took it for 40 yards, saw a dude, Zach J. When he took it for 40 yards, he scored a touchdown. And I'm sorry, can anybody else tell me how many more other NFL or how many more other Detroit Lions offensive or defensive or special teams players scored a touchdown? Anybody? Anybody? No more touchdowns were scored. Only Jamo. Okay, Jamo's the only one that scored a touchdown in a game which we lost 16-9. Cool. So there's a certain segment of the fan base, and I'll get to the segment, and it's not just the Oakley people. It's not. And that's why I'm doing this show today. That's why I'm talking about the topic. Because if it was just the people with the Oakleys, then we know why they have this problem with Jamo. And my question becomes now, okay, so he humped the goalpost. He hugged the goalpost. It was a hug. It wasn't a hump. Okay. And then if you watch the St. Brown Brothers podcast, he may not have known that that was the rule. He may not have known that you just can't touch it at all. It was revealed that maybe this has not been explicitly expressed. And you know why he may not have known it? You know why he may have thought, well, it's just got to be an obscene gesture or it's just got to be something. Because last year, Jahmyr Gibbs did a TikTok celebration in which he danced all on the goalpost, and that was his wall. Y'all remember the one that I'm talking about? I don't remember Jahmyr Gibbs getting flagged for that celebration. It was in Chicago. I don't remember Jahmyr Gibbs getting flagged for that celebration. So if Jahmyr Gibbs can do all of that, okay? If he can do all that dancing on it, coming down and then coming back up, and he doesn't get flagged, well, a 1-second hug by Jamo, maybe he didn't think that would get flagged. Right? Amon-Ra St. Brown said, really, he legit don't even know what he's going to do when he scores. It just comes to him and he does it. So the thing about Jahmyr Gibbs and Amon-Ra St. Brown, and they plan and choreograph their, celebrations, and Jamo just does what he does. He just does what comes to his mind. Okay? Now, everyone's mad because Jamo cost us a point, the wind, all of that. It was crazy. Did it matter? In the grand scheme of things, did it matter? It didn't. I would be the first one to say, let's say we lose that game by 1. Let's say we have an opportunity to tie the game, but we can't tie it. So we lose by 4 because we had to go for a touchdown if we had gotten the ball back last and didn't have the opportunity to score or to kick a field goal and go into overtime. Okay, so we lose the game by 4 or we lose the game by 1. I'm going to be the first one to sit up here and tell you, Jamo, you can't do that. But I'm also going to be the first one to tell you that we scored 9 points in 60 minutes. What does Jamo doing a celebration have to do with the fact that our offensive output for a 60-minute game was 9 points? Was that why was Jamo why we lost the game? And then even still, if we get the ball back, trailing by let's say 4, let's say it's 13-9, and we get the ball back trailing by 4, and we have to score a touchdown to win. And we don't score the touchdown, and you go, oh, see, it was Jamo's fault. We scored 9 points in 4 quarters. That is the biggest problem. So now, the reason I asked the question is for all of you haters, all of you Jamo haters. Because as I said, it's not just the Oakley wearing people. It's not just the people that got the Oakley shades on in their profile pictures. And you know what that's universal for? Those are the people that are calling him a thug. Those are the people that just saying, oh, he's a no good, no gooder, no, you know, what is it? A no good, bad doer or whatever. No good, no good Nick. Okay. But there were people of all colors and shades and sizes. I was watching shorts yesterday. I saw people, oh yeah, you know, Jamo, this. What is the problem with this fan base and Jameson Williams? The man runs a 4.140. The man is a dynamic playmaker. The man can touch the ball on any point of the field, on any yard line, and take it to the house. For the first half of the season, when people were saying, hey, Jamo needs to get the ball more, Jamo needs to get the ball more, Jamo needs to get the ball, all I heard when Johnny Moe was calling plays, all I heard was, well, 2 safeties over the top. We can't get it to him deep. And my question was, why does he have to get the ball deep? I just said he can touch the football at any yard line and take it to the house. And you know who else knows that? Opposing defensive coordinators, which is why you saw 2 safeties over the top plus a corner covering him, man coverage or zone or. They're allocating 3 people to this one player. We haven't seen that since Calvin Johnson. Think about it. When Matthew Stafford was throwing jump balls to Calvin Johnson in the middle of 3 defenders and Calvin was going up and coming down with it, we haven't seen a Lions wide receiver get 3 people allocated to him in coverage since Calvin Megatron Johnson, who is a Hall of Famer. And for all these people that are sitting around mad at Dan and Brad because all we get is choir boys. As soon as we get a dude who's not your perfect image of a human, you sit up here and act like he's the worst person ever. As if you shouldn't employ him. He shouldn't be on the team. Oh, he's such a troublemaker. He's this, that, and the third thing. When he got paid, there were people like, oh, well, what if he gets suspended again? What if he doesn't? What if you listen to Dan Campbell? What if you listen to his teammates that talk about the work that he's done to mature and this, that, and the third thing? What if you root for the goddamn player who's on your team who can make plays for your team, who can help you win games, and it causes 0 trouble in the locker room? What were his off-field problems? What did he do? How many people did he shoot? How many people did he kill? How many women did he beat? How many houses did he break into? Yeah, he got suspended twice. One for a gambling rule, which was freaking ancillary, and a lot of people don't know it. And the NFL themselves thought better of it and reduced the suspension drastically. They gave him 6 games and reduced it to 2 after he had served 4. So he received two. I'm sorry, he received a 2-game suspension and a 1-game suspension. Did he do 2 games or 1 game for the Adderall or whatever the hell that was? I think he did 2 games. Okay, so let's say he's been suspended for a total of 4 games. The gun situation, again, yeah, you got to know the rules, you got to know the laws, bro. A lot of times, the things that you know, these guys don't know. A lot of times, these guys, even Amon-Ra St. Brown, doesn't know who's on the schedule after the team that they're playing. We know the whole schedule. We can sit there and recite it back to front to back. We know all the rules, right? We know all the rules that have ever been made. I've never seen a superstar player, and Jameson Williams has all the makings of a superstar. I've never seen a superstar player be so hated by his own fan base. It is freaking ridiculous. We had people coming in here, just coming into the stream to talk about how stupid Jamo was because of the celebration. I'm streaming the game. And we're watching the Philadelphia Eagles go down and score their only touchdown of the game. And I'm watching my defense and I'm talking about this, and people want to come in here and talk to me about Jamo. For freaking what? For what? Who else scored? Who else gave you an opportunity to win the football game? I really don't understand the hate, bro. I really don't. I mean, there was so much, trade Jamo, trade, and get who? For what? The man had 4 touches for 88 yards and a 40-yard touchdown. Last year, the man had 1,000 yards on the least amount of touches. It was the lowest number of touches among the top 5 in NFL history for a person to get 1,000 yards. This is the kind of player that you are begging the Detroit Lions to get rid of. You are begging the Detroit Lions to get this man off your roster. For what? If Jameson Williams had 1,500 yards, how much winning do you think that we're doing? If he had 1,500 yards, how many touchdowns do you think he's scoring? If he got the type of the amount of targets, and he's not going to, and I'm not calling him for him to do. If he got the amount of targets that Amon-Ra St. Brown had, how many touchdowns do you think we would score a game? If Jameson Williams had 12 targets in a game, how many touchdowns do you think he could score? Because he doesn't have to be anywhere near the end zone to score a touchdown. Him and Jahmyr Gibbs have true home run hitting speed. Jamo is faster than Jameer. Jamo can take a 2-yard slant and turn it into a 90-yard gain. We have two guys that can do that on our team. One of them is Jahmyr Gibbs. One of them is Jameson Williams. That type of speed and that type of playmaking ability isn't just something that you replace. I saw so much complaining. As I said, I'm going through these shorts, just watching the shorts. I saw so much complaining about Jameson Williams and his touchdown celebration, and not enough complaining about Jared Goff missing wide open receivers. Jared Goff missing Brock Wright for the second touchdown. Because, hey guys, all we needed was 2 touchdowns in that game. That's it. It was that type of game. All you needed was 2 touchdowns. One team scored 1, the other team scored 1, and the other teams kicked field goals. That's it. The Philadelphia Eagles scored 7 points and kicked 3 field goals. It's ridiculous. I'm going to get to your comments, but it's freaking ridiculous. So go ahead, cut Jamo. Because he's such a cancer. He's such a bad person. He's such a bad teammate. He's such a bad player. The coaches hate him. His teammates hate him. Cut him. Get rid of him. Every time this offense has struggled this year, the refrain from a lot of people within the fan base has been get the ball to Jamo. So for all of you other people that don't want to get the ball to Jamo, then what were you going to do in those games? When the fix to the offense was get the ball to Jamo. What were you going to do? Who were you going to get it to? Oh, let's just give Amon-Ra St. Brown 15 more targets. And I've been meaning to say this, but I've always forgotten or been interrupted or had my thought process taken somewhere else. Amon-Ra St. Brown right now is playing like a 4th-round draft pick. In this stretch of the last 4 games, he's been playing like a 4th-round draft pick. He needs to get it together. But he's above reproach because he's the perfect guy. Hold people accountable. Jamo has done some silly things, some immature things. But you know what? A lot of these guys are immature and they have to grow up. And that's what he's done right before your eyes. Stop with the hate, bro. He's here for another 5 years. It's ridiculous. He signed an extension. 5 more years. For a guy that runs a freaking 4.1 40 and can put the ball into the end zone from anywhere on the field. And you guys are freaking trying to run him out of town? What are you doing? What are you doing? Do you like winning? I don't want to hear a goddamn thing again about a damn, all we get is choir boys. You better not be one of those people that's trying to run Jameson Williams out of town. Because, oh, by the way, he's not a bad person. He was the one getting freaking Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch and them involved in the community, going to hand out turkeys on Thanksgiving and hand out coats to kids, freaking for the winter who couldn't afford it. He's that guy. But he does a few silly celebrations that gets, a penalty or whatever the case may be, and he's just the worst person ever. Grow up. Grow the frick up, bro. It's like seriously, grow up. I hope I don't need to do any more of these shows, bro. Like Jameson Williams is on your team. If you don't like it, go find another team to root for. I'm serious. I have never disliked a player on the Detroit Lions that was good and good on the Detroit Lions. I'm not a Matthew Stafford fan. And you know what he didn't do in Detroit? Win. If he was a winning quarterback in Detroit, guess what I would be? A huge Matthew Stafford fan. But he didn't do any winning until he left Detroit. And he's a quarterback. So it's his job to win. It's not Calvin Johnson's job to win. If Calvin Johnson gets 250 yards in a game and 4 touchdowns, guess what? The quarterback had to throw him all those balls. If Calvin Johnson gets 1 target and it's a 50-yard touchdown and we lose, it's not Calvin Johnson's fault. Winning and losing, fair or unfair, quarterback gets a lot of blame and a lot of praise. So don't praise a quarterback when he wins, but then not blame him when he loses. That's crazy. All you Stafford fans that don't want to admit that, he threw a lot of goddamn pick sixes. And there were a lot of strip sacks on potential game-winning drives. Yeah, he had a lot of game-winning drives, and he had very few playoff appearances in 12 years. What did he have? 2? 2 playoff appearances in 12 years. Oh, it was the organization. It was this. It was that. The organization didn't throw the pick sixes. The organization didn't get strip sacked. The organization didn't constantly put the ball in harm's way. All right, make it to y'all comments. I know there's a lot of them. All right. All right. Greg People said he had a QB. He would be the number 1 wide receiver in the NFL, bro. Okay. Paul Thomas says cut Jamo. Paul Thomas is being facetious. David Montgomery was doing pretty good, and we just stopped going to him. They are putting Gibbs in the short yardage situations. If the coaches just use our weapons like they're supposed to, that's not the point. We talking about Jamo. You know? Ja was just itching his back, LOL. Yeah, that's all. That's all. He was just scratching. We probably only have 1 loss. Okay. Thank you. Welcome back, Avery. Nah, Jamo didn't cost us a thing. Okay, he cost us 1 point. We have bigger problems than Jamo tree hugging the post. Facts. I was told Jameson Williams lives on the east side somewhere. He probably does. He probably does. You know what I'm saying? You know, the east side gets a bad rap. I'm from the east side. We have structural problems on offense. We do. You didn't know Lions fan base is the most toxic fan base in sports because they're losers. I don't know what fan base you came from, if you are a Lions fan or not. I don't know. I'm also getting a little tired of people bashing Tesla because he is white. He can't do anything about that. If you're bashing Tesla, you should be bashing Tesla because he's not an offensive lineman. That's the only reason to bash Tesla. Tesla is damn good. He's got lots of talent. But do we need his talent is the question. We needed an offensive lineman with those 2 third-round picks. We needed a defensive end with those 2 third-round picks. That's my only problem with Tesla. Thank you, Avery. Mr. Detroit City. Hopeful Chase don't want to get rid of Jamo at all, but for real, kid needs to stop being a child and grow up. Anything you do that hurts the team reflects poorly on his character and his commitment to the team. It does not. It does not. So Brian Branch, we got the same energy for Brian Branch. We got the same energy. I just want to know. I just want to know if we have this, if do we have the same energy for Brian Branch? Because Brian Branch has gotten many more 15-yard flags than Jameson Williams and also got himself suspended for a game. So do we have that same energy? I just want to know. If we throw him the football, absolutely. Jamo slander is ridiculous. Just an exceptionally talented young man that's still learning. People need to chill. Facts. He said, don't look at me. Unfortunately, Mr. Detroit City, I got to look at you on this one. Oh, I understand the hate. Matter of fact, I overstand it. Facts. Tell him to stop being a complete dumbass. See what I mean? Are we keeping the same energy for Brian Branch? Are we keeping the same energy? People don't like that Jamo acts like a punk sometimes, but what is acting like a punk? What does that mean? I don't understand. What does that mean? 1,500 yards, probably around 13 to 17 TDs. Okay. So then that's Jahmyr Gibbs territory, right? When he had 20 plus scrimmage touchdowns last season. Okay. So if you give him 1,500 yards, that's another Jahmyr Gibbs. Two guys that are accounting for damn near 40 touchdowns. Okay, cool. For an offensive lineman, yes. Jamison, Jamo Williams is awesome. You're right, brother. Them haters are wrong, man. They need to apologize. They do. He reaps what he sows. What is he doing? What is he doing, guys? This is my question. Hopeful Chase. What is he doing that is so awful? I just don't understand. He needs to exude commitment to the team. That's why he signed an extension to be here for 5 more years, because the team knows that he exudes commitment. If he didn't, he wouldn't have been given that extension. When everybody was talking about, oh, Jamo's going to be the odd man out. Jamo's going to be the one that Brad Holmes doesn't re-sign as his draft pick. Well, guess what? 5 more years, $83 million more. What are we talking about? I don't understand. I really don't. Jamo is not the problem. St. Brown hit the Redskins player. So facts. Facts. Amon-Ra St. Brown slapped the dude in the face. But what do we hear about that? Nothing. Silence. Okay. So, all right. Okie dokie. Where are the stats? Okay. All right. You don't watch football, Helpful Chase. You're a casual. Okay. How many times this season has Jameson Williams been misused? How many times has he been misused? How many times has Johnny Moe run him on clear out route after clear out route after clear out route, and then complain that we can't get him the ball because they're not giving us the right coverage? As if the defense is just supposed to just roll over and let you do whatever the hell you want to do. But that's Jamo's fault. Okay, cool. All right. What up, the tactical sport? St. Brown speaks German. Facts. Brad Holmes' refusal to show up our D line hasn't helped. That's also facts. Jameson and that guy actually got a good heart. That's also facts. Because Stafford isn't a winner. That's also facts. Now he's a winner now, but he wasn't a winner here. So me being a Stafford fan now would be ridiculous because I'm not a Rams fan. Goff doesn't have any awareness. Dude doesn't even see his neighbor. You keep throwing out those accusations, bro. I don't know why Lions fans act like he is so good, but that's on Brad and Dan for re-signing the stiff stick. I'm not going to argue with you. Jamo makes a great effort as a blocker. That's something that shouldn't be taken for granted at wide receiver. Facts. Facts. Tesla doesn't get bashed. Brad Holmes gets bashed for spending 3 picks on the kid right after re-signing Jamo. Again, nothing against Isaac. It's Granny Brad. Jamo will never be the football player BB32 is. I will say that. Branch is legendary. But doesn't Branch do dumb stuff on the field and get 15-yard penalties? Hasn't he gotten himself ejected from a game? Hasn't he gotten himself suspended? I mean, but Jamo is the punk. Jamo is the guy that's not performing. Jamo is this. Jamo is that. It's again. I don't see what you see. I don't see what you see. If you're seeing, and I'm not talking about you specifically, Mr. Detroit City, right? I don't see what you see. If Jamo is just this big problem, he needs to apologize because other receivers are outperforming him. If he was the number one receiver on a team, what kind of numbers do you think he'd be putting up? If Dan had been the play caller from day one, what kind of numbers do you think Jamo would put up? Because since Dan has taken over, Jamo's getting targeted. He has 7 targets this game, and he had 6 targets against the Commanders. That's 13 targets in 2 games. My guy was struggling to get 13 targets all year under Johnny Mo. So what are we talking about? Love both Branch and Jamo, but Branch has cost us more. Thank you. Jamo proved when used right, he's cold. Thank you. My problem with the Lions is Brad. It's been that way. Never been such an arrogant dude whose resume is empty. It's getting to that point. You know what I'm saying? It's getting to that point, and a lot of people don't want to say it. But, again, the Tesla thing was arrogant. It's like, and I don't want to see. This is the one thing I don't want to say about Brad. I don't want to say smartest guy in the room, because the last time we had smartest guy in the room, it was Bob Quinn. And Bob Quinn didn't win anything. He didn't get close to winning anything. He didn't get close to putting together a competent football team. So I want to reserve that from him. But the arrogance, the smugness, all that, we can attribute that to Brad Holmes. When a guy tells you, I did more tape on more film study on Tease Tabor than anybody else in this draft, and you did that, but you still drafted him, the smartest guy in the room thing is you. It's only you. It's nobody else, because that was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. A GM come in here and tell you a cornerback who runs a 4.6 and cannot play man coverage is drafted and then put into a scheme in which you play man coverage. Crazy. Nobody in their right mind wants to cut Jamo. Oh, no. This isn't for the people in their right minds. This isn't for the people in their right minds. It's not Tesla's fault that Brad Holmes was trying to be the Rams and take the next Puka instead of taking a damn DE or OL. So here's the thing. Brad had a chance to take Puka. He took Broderick Martin. So you can't backfill, right? You can't backfill, especially at a position where you don't need to backfill, right? You don't need a receiver so badly in the Lions' current roster that you give up 2 third-round picks to move up and get him, as if you couldn't have gotten offensive line help for those 2 third-round picks. If you would have traded 2 third-round picks to get a center, to get a right guard, to get a left guard, to get a left tackle, so that you can start grooming him to replace Taylor Decker, so that it's not freaking Manu. that you put in there when Taylor Decker goes out injured. If you would have done that, it's much better than what you got, a wide receiver who has 6 targets and he plays a gunner on special teams. That's not Tesla's fault, but that's why I'm not bashing the player. I'm bashing the pick. Early on, I thought that he had justified the trade because I thought he was, when he came in week number 1 and scored the only touchdown that the offense had against the Packers, it was like, okay, cool. We're going to use this kid and he's going to be part of the offense in the red zone. Guess what? He's not. So now he can't help us score points, which is what we need to do to win games. And he can't help us protect the quarterback, which would help us score points. So now, is the trade justified? No, it's a terrible trade. It's a terrible trade, especially you knew Frank Ragnow. You knew Frank Ragnow was out. You knew it. Legends do dumb-ish from time to time. Look at T.O. That's facts. But we don't, people don't keep the same energy, right? I just want you to keep the same energy. Is Jamo legendary? Not right now. Does he have the talent and the ability to be legendary? Yes, he does. Is he maturing? Is he growing up right before your eyes? Yes, he is. Cut him some slack. Cut him some slack. By the way, it's me, your boy Detroit Diddy, aka Motor City Diddy. I don't know if you want to call yourself that. Jamo doesn't produce 15 plus seasons of magic like T.O. did. Jamo hasn't been in the league 15 plus seasons. You know what I'm saying? And Jamo doesn't get, look, we had a guy in Johnny Moe who told you how much he loved Jamo and how he was just going to open up this offense with Jamo and take the top off the defenses, and he was going to spread, he was going to do all this stuff and didn't have a damn idea how to do it. Because the only idea he had was to run Jamo on a clear out route. And if the defense doesn't give you umbrella coverage over the top plus a trailing DB, then we can and only then can we throw him the football. He's got to be 50 yards down the field. If he's not 87 yards down the field or 105 yards down the field, if he's not 500 yards down the field, we can't throw it to him. We can't throw it to him 2 yards in front of the behind the line or in front of the line of scrimmage and let him do something. We can't do that. That's who he had. Osama bin Johnson had that dude running on jet sweeps. He had him running on crossers. He had him running on slants. And we actually thought that this guy was going to open up Jamo, which he absolutely did not. Which is why he's had his play calling duties taken away, because he's garbage. That's why. You know, we wouldn't even be talking about Jamo if we made the field goal, which didn't matter anyways. Right, the extra point. Right, we wouldn't have been. I see a player with an $83 million contract, period. Facts. If Stafford was here, Jamo and Saint would have legendary numbers. You know what? I'm not even going to lie to you. Right? Not a Stafford fan, because in Detroit, he's not a winner. If you take this version of Matthew Stafford and put him in Detroit, where he actually is able to win games instead of throw interceptions to lose them, then I 100% agree with you. 100%. Jamo running deep with Stafford bombing it to him. Come on now. Titus Young was about to get that work. But we know it was unfortunate. He was bipolar and he was off his meds. But Titus Young was about to get that work. So what are we talking about? We're talking about practice. Backup QB in LA is the surest way to get some trim. Uh, who the F thought we should cut him anyway? Last year, the only reason I thought we'd cut him is because we were getting to a point where we had enough offensive weapons that we needed a defensive weapon. Well, we see how that worked out. It's not that people thought that we should cut him. It's just the people complaining, and I'm like, well, why don't we just cut him? Because now, then what will you complain about? Then you'll complain about how the offense is inept. We don't have anybody that can scare the defense. We don't have anybody that can take the top off the defense. And now we're just facing 10-man boxes because all we got to do is stop Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, and then that's how you stop the Detroit Lions. So that's my point. If you want to cut him, cut his ass, and then see what you can complain about after that. That's my point. Brad, I'm super genius. You humans are dirt. Why drive Torrey Horton in the 4th or 5th, who can also return kicks and eventually replace Leaf when I can blow picks on my guy? Hey, I don't know. Brad falls in love with his guys, and that is a flaw. So trading or money getting freed up makes sense, but now Jamo proved he's cold AF. Facts. Melvin has got us a good roster. I don't think that Melvin can get us over the hump. I think that someone else will have to come in and get things done. And it's possible. It's possible. Brad is such an arrogant POS. And I ain't gonna call him a POS now. I'm not gonna assassinate the dude's character. The dude believes in his process to a flaw. That doesn't make him a bad person. Brad Holmes is a very good overall GM, but I wish he didn't put mid-round resources in projects. It definitely limits what the Lions can do at the trade deadline. And this has been my point the entire time. A 3rd-round draft pick is not just something that you should throw away on a project. Broderick Martin, okay, freaking Manu, Isaac Tesla, right? Isaac Tesla is less of a project, but it was just a bad trade. You gave up assets when you needed to allocate them somewhere else, right? You gave up assets for a position that was not necessary. It was a luxury pick. And you took 2 3rd-round picks to make a luxury pick. It's not as if he fell in your lap and you just said, oh, we'll take him in the 3rd. Right? If you had done that, you still had the 2 3rd-round picks, and you could have done something at the trade deadline to get some freaking help in here. You also could have retained Zeitler's services. I don't want to hear like anybody's like, oh, well, Zeitler just said that he wanted to go home. No, that wasn't the case because him and his wife wanted to stay in Detroit. His wife was over here tweeting about staying in Detroit because she thought that they were going to get a deal here. So once the deal wasn't offered, once it was a slap in the face amount of money, then it was like, yeah, well, I just wanted to finish my career at home. That wasn't how it started out this offseason. It didn't start off by wanting to. That wasn't the case. We only heard about that after he signed in Tennessee. So that's on Brad for not re-signing him. If you want to, he's 35. Yes, so bring in a guy in the draft. You still could have drafted Tate Ratledge and had Christian Mahogany already. You still could have done these things, but you've got a solid veteran. Oh, by the way, Frank Ragnow's gone. Come on, dude. It was the same thing with Zadarius Smith. As I said before, I guarantee you that Zadarius Smith is not retiring if he's back with the Lions because that's all he wanted to do was be back with the Lions. His heart wasn't in Philly. He retired. He didn't want to be there. You know? Jamo Loki got the ability to be like Pickens level. He don't have the hands that Pickens does. He don't have the spectacular catchability, but his speed and ability to catch the football, the ability to run the football, like all of that, yes. I would definitely put his skill set in line with George Pickens' skill set. Tesla is a prime example of a red zone threat not being utilized properly. Facts. Wait a minute. If Jameson Williams is running 50 yards downfield, who's going to get the ball to him? Goff has done it in the past. I told you, go look at that Chicago game. Comparing T.O. to Jamo's BS. Jamo's not a wide receiver one for real, and T.O. didn't have other mouths to feed, especially in the run game, like in Gibbs. Yeah, cut the fastest player in the NFL. Smart move, LOL. Shame on Hutch. Brad ain't a POS, but he low-key being a rat bastard right now. Next drive better be all trenches. Facts. I'm definitely on board with that. I don't want any skill positions. I don't care about no wide receivers, no running back, nothing. It better be offensive and defensive line. And it should be more offensive line. Don't forget Hinton Hooker in the third. That I mean, again, yeah. I mean, yeah. But at the time that you drafted Hendon Hooker in the third, what was the sentiment? Oh, he's going to come in and take over for Goff. That was before Goff got his extension. Anybody who looks down on everybody and thinks they are a genius is a bad human. Yes. I don't think he looks down on everybody. He thinks he knows more about football than the fan base. And for the vast majority, he does. Right? Brad is throwing members of the media under the bus. Like Brad is confronting members of the media. He's not throwing his players under the bus and talking about how, his play calls are the bee's knees. No, that's not what's happening. I get it, but it's slightly different. Hear me out. This year's defense with last year's offense, we get a ring for sure. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Doubles down, rocks his own jersey when when the clown could never make it in football. They all wore his jersey. In that title, are we stupid as a fan base? Anakin Skywalker. Yes, we are. I love when people come in like extra late after I've already made my point. I'm not gonna make it again. So just rewind and then you'll see. If Brad would have overpaid Zeitler to keep him here, Lions have 1 or 2 more wins for sure. Facts. And 8-2 is better than 6-4. I saw that one timer. The ball was in the air like a Jake Fox punt, end or over end. But you know what? He caught it and he scored. So that's all that matters. Jamo can't be a deep threat anymore because our O-line can't hold blocks long enough. Long developing pass plays may not be the best right now. And that's all Johnny Mo knew how to run. And that's why we couldn't get Jamo the ball. No, but they both run from responsibility. I mean, has anybody asked Brad Holmes point blank, hey, do you regret picking Broderick Martin? Do you regret picking Hendon Hooker? Do you regret picking Manu? Has anyone asked him directly those questions? I don't think they have, because it would have been a very hot topic to see how he would have answered them. If everything is equal in terms of value, I hope the Lions draft the LT in round 1. Ideally, someone who can start on opening day in 2026. Facts. I don't hate Brad Holmes. He is far better than what we had. I just wish he had more urgency. Yes, because and that's the thing. We want him to make the trades. We want him to, forget about all Campbell guys and all this other stuff. It's like, dude, there are guys that are getting traded that want to play football. Jalen Phillips got traded to the Philadelphia Eagles. He wants to play there. Do you think he wouldn't have wanted to play for the Detroit Lions because he just came from the Miami Dolphins and all they do is lose, lose, lose no matter what? Every time they walk into the building, everybody put their hands down and they stay there and they stay there. You're right. Because that's the Miami Dolphins. He came to he went to the Philadelphia Eagles and brought the energy immediately. Immediately. Lions need an LT and a guard early or trade for one. I'm not sure what's better. Ratledge can go to center, and then you need to put skill in the interior. You know what? A lot of questions will be answered once we see Miles Frazier. Okay. Because the sentiment is that Miles Frazier fell in the draft. He wasn't supposed to go when he went. So we'll see what we have with Miles Frazier, and he might be back this game or probably Thanksgiving. Brett Favre threw a ton of picks too, but guess what? Got him a ring. But Brett Favre was on a good team. Like Brett Favre was on a good team. You know, he threw a ton of picks. He was a gunslinger, but the Packers were infinitely better than the Lions, right? And the Packers could overcome picks. The Lions couldn't. So when you're on a team where your gunslinging is doing nothing but losing you games, you gotta kind of pare it back a bit. You know what I'm saying? We gotta let go of those ish picks in the draft. Every team gets a dud or two, and in my opinion, we got more sleepers than most. We let them go. We let go of Hendon Hooker. We let go of Broderick Martin. We haven't let go of Manu, but you know, Manu was a project that was going to take a few years, and this is the reason why it's like you traded two third rounders to move to get a guy in the fourth round. That's crazy. No, what I mean, of course, we all say, or they all say after the trades happened, oh, they were highly touted, they were highly sought after. They this, they that, they the third thing. Broderick Martin wasn't getting drafted. Manu wasn't getting drafted. Manu is probably one that would have gotten drafted just based off of his size and speed and athleticism, right? Because there's a lot of GMs that would have fallen in love with him. Now, would we have been able to sit still and stand pat and still get him because he would have fallen to us? It's quite possible. But Broderick Martin, there was no sense in that at all whatsoever. He wasn't getting drafted. Um, that's all we want. JG just has more estrogen compared to testosterone. On the record, no, and the only one would is my man Doc. Facts. Not his fault. Born that way. The first pick is probably a LT because center is not looking great in this draft class. Well, I heard there's a lot of good offensive linemen in this draft class. So, yeah, we should have our pick of the litter multiple times. Phillips is arguably the difference in the Eagles being 8-2 instead of 6-4. Yeah, that game against us for sure. But they would have been 7-3. Yeah. Unless you're talking about, did he play a game before? Miles Frazier was a beast in pass pro in college, and that's what we need. Oh, us fans let it go. Okay. The Bears starting LT is a UDFA from the same school in the province of BC that Manu played at. A UDFA. See? Meeks getting reps at T is interesting. Great receiving threat, but light as heck. He's bigger. He's gonna be more like an H back. But it's a possibility. All right. Green Bay. Yeah, he was in the Green Bay game. Facts. All right, you know what time it is. Mailbag. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they reading you? Mailbag, mailbag, snick, mailbag. Get your mailbag questions in. Get them in. Bask in it. All right. So let's get these mailbag questions in. They can be about the Giants. They can be about whatever else you want them to be about. So go ahead, get them in. I know who's getting the first one in. I know. Told you. It's my man Taylor May. All right, Taylor Made Media says mailbag. While everybody's they're clutching their pearls about Jameson Williams and looking past the New York Football Giants, how would Jared Goff handle the pressure from Brian Bird's breathing on him? Well, it's got to be the same situation as it was, getting the ball out quick. You know, that was the game plan. They just didn't execute it. I mean, the game plan was to get the ball out quick. Um, Again, they're going to have to move out of the center. If Dexter Lawrence is getting his hands up, uh, you know, they got to move out of the center. You've got to throw balls to your left, you got to throw balls to your right, pause. But that's the only way now that you're going to be able to do things like that if everybody's watching the same film and they're like, "Oh, that's how you stop them." So you're going to have to throw some more passes to the boundaries instead of trying to use the middle of the field. You got to change some things up. Mailbag, do you think Brad will make any moves at next year's deadline or maybe even the offseason? I know I'm a dreamer, but had to ask. So the next year's deadline is not something that I can talk about now because we don't know what's going to be necessary at next year's deadline. He's made deadline trades. They haven't always been great. Remember last year, we got Zadarius Smith at the deadline because he felt that we needed to replace Hutch. I don't know. I can tell you why they didn't make any deals at the deadline because they didn't have the capital because of that dumbass trade for Isaac Tesla. So they didn't really have the ability to make deals at the deadline. Not for anybody that was going to be impactful. Right? Now, I think Brandon Sheriff is still a free agent. You could maybe kick the tires on him. I just want to. I understand the motivational factor of Dan Campbell and believing in his guys. And it's gotten us this far, but it's not really gotten us anywhere. It's gotten us to an NFC Championship game in which whoever crapped the bed. It was a collective crapping of the bed. But we haven't been back. Last year, Jared Goff crapped the bed when he went up against the Washington Commanders. So in the offseason, for sure. I mean, what do you mean? Brad Holmes, his job is to build this roster. He cannot not get anybody in free agency. Like he cannot not get replenish the offensive line through the draft. Like if you're going out there getting receivers and running backs and your offensive line looks like this, then what are you doing? He's trying to get fired at that point. So no, I don't believe that that's really even on the table for him not to do anything in the offseason. Mailbag, Jameis Winston going to come out throwing it around for the New York Football Giants on Sunday. When's Terrion Arnold going to suit up? He could be back this week, and so could DJ Reed. But, it's concussion protocol. So it could look grim all week, and then Friday it could be like, boom, full participant in practice, no symptoms. That's how concussions go. The correct answer was no, he's good. That was too much for it to be no, he's good. For him not to do anything in the offseason at all, that's crazy. Burns is a huge concern. He beat a younger, healthier Taylor Decker repeatedly in 2020 and 2022 in Carolina. Yes, he is a major concern, which is why this is why I say you got to move the pocket. Move it away from him. Just move it away from him. Like, I know you don't think of Jared Goff as a rollout passer and everything. And I don't need you to roll out. I don't need you to do anything like that. I just need you to reset the pocket away from Brian Burns, right? I don't need you to take a straight drop back. I need you to angle your drop back away from Brian Burns. Things of that nature. So once you do that, then we can be in a better situation. Mailbag, what has Coach Campbell said about this week's matchup versus the New York Football Giants? Oh, he's talked about, Dexter Lawrence and how he respects the way he plays the game. He's talked about Jackson Dart, how he's a spark plug and you can't let that energy get on you because it could snowball. He's talked about the New York Giants being a tough team that has competed throughout every single game that they've been in, and they were up, big in a lot of those games, and they just couldn't close it out. So he said, they've competed since September, so he's not taking them lightly. They're not overlooking it, you know. And once they asked him about, the two games in 7 days, he said, "Look, we're taking it one game at a time. We got to talk about the Giants this week, and then we'll worry about the other challenge when it's in front of us." So that is what that is. But he's saying the usual things that he says. TA can come back as a backup if guys like Chuba can lose their job due to injuries. So can Kiddo. Rock is our rock. DB's been doing great. Um, I I wouldn't put Rock in front of Terrion. Or TA can just stay in recovery, make sure he's good. What up though, Mr. Morale 313? The Giants look much better than the other teams that have similar records. The Giants do not look bad at all. It has been a play here and there. Last week against the Packers, it was, the throw into the end zone. They got intercepted, which would have tied it up. So, it's not a team that you can take lightly just because it's the Giants and they have a poor record. They asked Dan Campbell about that interim new coach bump. Do you get a bump in energy and things of this nature? And he said, yeah, you do. Right? He said you do get a bump in energy. He's not sure how long it will last, but he did cite the fact that they were in the game towards the end and they had a chance to beat the Packers. They just couldn't close it out. All right. Any more mailbag questions? If not, you know what time it is. The Giants' offensive line looks light years better than their offensive lines in recent years, and we're gonna have to get pressure on them. Tyler Lacey's gonna have to get after the quarterback because we good. You know, um, we were second in sacks. We were second in sacks. A few weeks ago. Now we're sixth. So it's gotta be concerning right now. Did anyone else need a break from Lions news? Well, I can't take a break from it, so no. um, but you missed the Jamo conversation. It was spirited. I think I lost a subscriber, but it is what it is. All right. So if there are no more mailbag questions, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. For those of you that are new here, make sure you go over to Motor City Cats and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you are here on LNU. But other than that, I will not be here tomorrow. But I will be back on Friday. Um, Catch it on the rebound. Facts. It's there. It's there living in immortality on YouTube. Mailbag, is the sky falling at Ford Field? No, no. Now, if you lose to the Giants, it will be. I'll tell you that much. It definitely will be because they will have to come into Ford Field and win that game. So they will have to come into Ford Field and leave victorious. Um, Tell them bye, Felicia. All right, y'all. I appreciate everyone who came through for a drink and conversation. Um, and we will be back here on Friday. Once again, the Motor City Cats are indeed back at it. We came to give you stats, not none of that static. Whatever you do, make sure you keep your lines news pragmatic. And we are out. Peace.